It is a whole month later, and we haven't even started putting stuff into the van yet because we've had to take everything out and then do a whole lot of repairs. And we got sick, and we had to travel for work. It's just been a long process. We really had no idea what we were getting ourselves into here. We have exactly 1 month. Well, actually a couple days less than 1 month. We have exactly 4 weeks until we're supposed to hit the road. And we have so much to do. I really hope we can get this done. We're gonna have to try it the YouTube way. 1, 2, 3.
This is bullshit.
Works on everybody else's videos.
We're Stephen and Andy, caffeinated travel couple on a mission to road trip to all 50 states.
Last you saw us, we were taking apart our camper van, and our quick reno became a full gut
Oh,
job.
that's on the inside.
Wow, oh, there's definitely mold in here.
Now we have to put it all back together.
I've got a puddle of blood on the roof here.
This is how not to build a camper van, part 2.
Now that we're about to get started building the van, soundproofing, insulation, wiring, this is not a tutorial. If anything, it's probably a lesson in what not to do.
All right, well, Steven's taking care of some last minute rust-proofing details just to make sure we're really solid on that. I'm gonna start with the sound deadener. One of the best things we did when we bought this van was take it out a couple of times and give ourselves a chance to kind of live in it the way it was already set up. That way we could get used to certain things about it, get a sense of how it ran, how it was already built out, and also make some decisions about the things that we think we need inside the van. For instance, when we were shopping, we were certain we needed an indoor shower. However, after going out a couple of times and spending a couple of months in it, we found we really didn't miss a shower. But we are building out a room, like a bathroom, a lavatory, because we do want privacy using the toilet. One of the other things that we decided while we were driving around for 2 months is that the van was really loud. And now that we've opened it all up, we've discovered that the reason for that is they didn't do any kind of soundproofing. They just left what was here from the manufacturer. So as you can see, we have some of these soundproofing panels here that were put in by the manufacturer to kind of do a little bit of the job, but we definitely are beefing it up with more. One of the areas that needs it the most is up here. This headliner right above the front seats, it is so loud in here. I mean, we basically have to shout across the way to each other if we're trying to have a conversation while we're driving. So we're really hopeful that by opening this up now, putting some sound deadener in there, putting some insulation in there as well, just make the whole van so much more comfortable both while we're driving and while we're parked up. Consulting YouTube for our next steps, constantly. Okay, while Stephen finishes putting together the pillars and getting this all back in place and nice and secure, I'm just gonna tuck a little bit more of the insulation in on the edges here. So that way we really just have nice sound prevention, heat prevention, because that whole sloped area up there is just gonna be catching all the sun and bringing it into the house. Should have been wearing my gloves. Cut myself. See? Don't do what we do.
Well, day 1 of the build up is finished, and it was super rewarding and productive.
Oh my gosh, we got so much done, finally! We have replaced some of that nasty insulation you saw us remove last time, started getting a bunch of it in place. We're gonna finish that up when we're ready to put up the walls. We've also put in a bunch of soundproofing, and what is most exciting about that is not just that it's gonna make driving this vehicle so much more pleasant, but it's also gone into places that we haven't had it before, like in the headliner, on the wheel wells, those back doors. They had none of that stuff. So this is going to be such a huge improvement for us. But tomorrow and the next day are the two projects I am most excited about.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
But
gonna have to
they're
watch.
Such cool additions.
Yeah, these are two things that we're very excited about adding to the van. So stay tuned. Today is gonna be awesome because we're finally starting one of the projects that I am the most excited about.
We knew we needed to get some ventilation in the back of the van because there are no windows that open back here. We chose to go with the ceiling for that, and that gives us three different options. One is to put another fan in the back like we have in the front. The other option would be to get an air conditioning unit back there, which would be amazing, but that's way out of our budget. And then the third option, which Andy is most excited about, we're putting a skylight over the bed.
But first we have to deal with this fan situation in the front. You may recall from our last video that we had a ton of water up here on the ceiling, and that was after the van had been indoors for over a week. So chances are excellent that water had been living up there for a very, very long time and was just accumulating every single time it rained. And on top of that, they wired the solar panels to come in right next to the fan without any kind of treatment or waterproofing, so that hole is jagged, it's sharp, it's rusted, and we've got wires just coming right through there, so we've got to fix that.
As we mentioned, we really have no idea what we're doing, and we're learning everything as we go, but we are pretty sure this is not the best way to get your solar wires through the roof.
While Stephen worked on the fan, my dad and I made a template for the skylight hole we were about to cut.
Look at that fit! We have a template! Look at that! So much cleaner. Superstar!
You're welcome.
All that rust is gone. Time to start putting coats and coats of primer and paint on it so it does not rust again. And then get that fan back in place.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good day.
This is where van builds get scary because we're about to cut a massive hole in the roof of our van. Shit, it's going under the solar panel. I guess I didn't realize I cut my leg. I just let it all over this. Look at it!
That was my left hand, but you cut it on.
The part that's sticking up, the metal that's sticking up that you drilled, I slid my leg right over it.
Luckily, everything went smoothly with the skylight install, and then we moved on to the solar cables. We rerouted them to where our new electrical system would be located and used cable clams to create a secure and watertight transition through the roof.
We finally have the fan reinstalled and the skylight is in. I am so excited about this. We also got the solar cables rerouted and properly waterproofed now, so hopefully we're not gonna have any more of those rust and water issues that we were having. The real test comes in a few days. Once all of the sealant cures, we're going to a car wash and cross your fingers for us. This is an exciting morning.
We finally get to see if all the work we've been doing on the van is actually waterproof.
Or if we're gonna be getting a shower in bed.
But first, we need to caffeinate. We're at Southern Streams Coffee House, which you might recognize from past vlogs. We've been here when it was Appalachian Coffee House.
That's right, they got a new brand, a new name, but we're still getting our coffee here. And we want to thank today's coffee sponsors, our amazing friends up in Pittsburgh, Caitlin and Walter.
And Shiloh.
Of course, their little girl. Thank you so much for sponsoring today's coffee, you guys.
This buzz is for you.
And hopefully we'll see you soon. We're gonna start by testing the fan and then going around and testing all of the side panels. I'm so nervous about this, but I'm also really excited. Oh my gosh, here we go! All right, that looks good. Nothing coming through yet. Okay, good news So far, now we're gonna try the other side of the fan, but so far I'm feeling really good about these results. I think it's time. We're looking great so far, but the big test is going to be the brand new giant hole in the back. It's gonna be right over our bed, so if this one leaks, we're gonna be getting showers in our sleep. I really hope this works.
All right, what's the verdict?
Well, good news, bad news.
Okay.
The fan looks amazing, nothing coming through there.
All right, I'll take it.
The side panels, nice and sealed up.
Good.
And then we have the skylight. We've got water.
Oh no.
I know, it's a disaster. Oh, this is so frustrating. This is gonna set us back a little bit because we definitely don't have a good seal on the skylight. The fan looks amazing, the side panels look amazing, but the skylight is leaking a lot. Sad coffee drinking. Did I mention we have 2 weeks until we hit the road? This is not good. All right, I am back on the roof, back with our skylight. So sad about this. I really wish that this had worked better. Anyhow, we're just learning as we go, and as we said, we don't know what we're doing. This is why we're not doing tutorials or how-tos or anything like that, because we're figuring it all out as we go. We're watching other people's YouTube videos, so this is definitely a how not to build a camper van situation, and well, second time's gonna be the charm, I think. Okay, I'm a little shaky up here, but we got one more layer on around the entire thing, filled in some gaps that we spotted, and we're gonna let this cure overnight. It says it's waterproof in 4 hours. It's lap sealant. So I think if we let this sit overnight, we should be good to give it a light water test tomorrow. This is not pretty, but at this point, I don't really care what it looks like up on the ceiling because no one's gonna be up here anyway. Well, yesterday had us feeling a little bit defeated.
Oh man, a little bit.
We really didn't film the entire process of trying to repair it because honestly, we just don't know what we're doing. We weren't sure if it would work and we didn't want to steer anyone wrong. But we went for another water test this morning. Day 2 of water testing, and let's really hope that 2 is the charm and not 3 because I don't want to do this again. We did it! We fixed it! No water coming through. Nice and sealed. We can finally start putting stuff in the van. Yes! Thank goodness. And now we can move on with this build. Let's get this thing looking like a home. Oh. Okay.
How do you do this?
Let's try that again.
Maybe I need to go slower. It just felt like once it hit, it just grabbed and bounced. So, take 2. God dang, that's scary.
Oh my gosh. Well,
another hole in the van.
Another big hole in the van. Good morning. It has been a few days and we got to get you caught up a bit. We've been working on Ace's electrical. She's out there, just a little bit overexposed. And we started getting all the wiring in place. Found out we were actually using the wrong wiring for our household outlets. So we had to order the correct wiring. Make sure you get stranded. We did not. Lesson learned, we caught it in time, and Dad and I have been working on all of that electrical stuff in there. In the meantime, all 4 of us, because yes, we have enlisted my parents, and I have to give them such a huge shout out, because we are 10 days away from heading out of town, and honestly, there's no way we would make it without all the help that they've been giving us. They were here the last few days, building, painting, working out electrical stuff, taking us to Lowe's and Home Depot to get the parts we needed from there that we couldn't order online or we didn't want to wait to order online. Honestly, they have just put so much sweat equity into this thing. We owe them so much for that. So just to show you, while we've been working on stuff with the van, fixing that leak, we've also been in here working on cabinets, building them, getting all the priming done. We're using these center line drawer slides. These are going to be really nice because they are push to open, and and that means that they're gonna hold closed without one of those ugly latches or something in front to hold them closed while we're driving. And then you push it to open, and it's got the nice soft close on it. It's gonna be very, very nice. All of these lower cabinets that we built are completely reusing stuff that pulled out of the previous van and then just kind of redesigning, repurposing, customizing it. So we are trying to reuse as much as possible. It's not as much as I had hoped when we started this project. At least for like some large pieces like the cabinets and things like that, we are managing to reuse what was already in the van. So we're gonna keep this moving along because like I said, 10 days. I'm so worried. I don't know if we're gonna make it. We are determined to though, so send good vibes. We got this, right?
So now we're putting in some walls and ceiling pieces finally, and in order to do that, we've got a whole bunch of different cutouts to deal with.
So we got the walls and the ceiling panels from Titan DIY Kits, and they're great because we don't have to figure out all the contours of the van and the sizes and everything and cut all of that out. That would have just added even more time to our process. However, they don't come pre-cut out for things like this driver's side window, our fan, our skylight, so we still have to figure out exactly where to cut within the panel, and these things are not inexpensive. So you've got to get it right. We're doing the cardboard template way. We've got the general measurements, now we got to figure out the curves.
We first went for the skylight, which was sort of the biggest, most challenging one.
Except for the window.
Except for the window.
That's gonna be a biggie.
Yeah, for this we measured, we made a template, we measured 3 to 10 times at least, put the template on there, tested the template, it seemed like it worked fine, so we put it on here, cut it out, not too bad of a cut if I do say so myself.
Very nice, baby.
Now we are about to try to fit it inside the van, and hopefully that works. If it doesn't, I might have to quit.
Real talk, you guys, because there's a lot that you just don't really get from watching these videos on YouTube. For instance, tip number 1, make sure your tetanus shots are up to date. I have cut myself so many times on metal and some of it rusty. It's amazing my jaw is not locked up. So definitely check your vaccination records, and if you need to get that updated, I would do it before you start the project. But all joking aside, what else would you say we've learned from this so far?
Even though you might realize everything's going to take a long time and it's not going to be easy, whatever time you think it's going to take to do something, it's probably going to take 3 to 5 times longer than that.
Okay, that might be a slight exaggeration, but it is definitely going to take longer.
I feel good about those numbers.
Okay, maybe 3. I'll go with 3 for sure. Yeah, if people on videos say it took them about a day to get all the walls in, for instance, we're on day 3. So definitely build in extra time. Confession, we were supposed to be on the road 5 days ago.
Yeah.
We really thought we would have this done by then, moved in, and we'd be traveling by now. And fact is, we've probably got another week still ahead of us. We've got a lot of stuff prepped. It doesn't look all that done here, but we've got a ton of stuff prepped in the space. Cabinetry built, painted, all the uppers built and painted. So once we finish getting the walls and the ceiling and the flooring in, it's just a matter of like moving everything in and anchoring it in place. Which again, the videos make it look like you can do in a day, so
yeah.
We're probably gonna need half a week just for that.
And we use the term just very lightly.
Yeah. So it's disappointing because we were really looking forward to being on the road, to being traveling by now, that sort of thing. But as we mentioned before, our first stop actually, we're heading up north to Philadelphia to get our electrical system put in.
Yeah.
And fortunately, normally I would say unfortunately, but for us in this case, it's fortunately, that also got delayed by about a week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the timing just seems to be working out right, you know? I mean, this is just what the universe is telling us is our timeline, and we're going with it because we really have no choice. There's nothing we can do about it.
And that's a positive reminder. Even the pros have delays by about a week, so that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely doing things a lot better and more efficiently than we are, but absolutely, that's a really good point. But going back to the tip about getting your booster shots up to date, there's one other thing that I would recommend people do before they start one of these projects. As you're preparing to do your van build, you're going to be figuring out what pieces you need to buy, what you need to budget for. You're going to be, making all kinds of probably spreadsheets, no doubt. I mean, if you work the way we do and the way I've seen some other people do, spreadsheets are the way to go. A budget tracker of some kind. There is one thing I really wish we put in our budget when we started this, because well, first off, we've gone way over budget. I think going into this, we planned on spending about $20,000. Ouch.
Yowza.
Yeah, that's a lot. And we're probably at about the $25,000 mark, easily. I think we're just about done spending. We've got a lot of extras. We did certain things on the cheap, but other things we really wanted to put some money into and just get what we wanted to get for it. So this is not a budget build by any stretch, but the fact that we went over by about 25% is significant. So that's another thing to plan for when you're planning your budget. But one thing we did not put into the budget, and we definitely don't have the money for now because we've gone so much over the budget already, is a post-build massage or spa day. Honestly, you guys, this is so tiring. I mean, just a few days ago, we just had to take a day off. We were so tired and so sore. Oh my gosh, my hands hurt. I've never felt my hands hurt like this, just from gripping and holding and moving things, holding things up. I have so much pain in my hands. They almost feel arthritic. And we just had to take a whole day off to rest up and recover a bit because it's a lot. It's a lot on the body. It's a lot on the mind, all the measurements and numbers and sizes and everything. And honestly, I would love to just be able to take a spa day when it's all over and just really give ourselves some really good R&R with that, you know, get a nice massage, some foot reflexology, because we are on our feet all day and our feet have been killing us. Unfortunately, that is not in the budget, and I don't see that getting added to the budget anytime soon. So, if you have the luxury of being at the beginning of your van build, stash some money away for that. Seriously, you will be so glad you did. Ago that I talked about how there were two things I was really excited about adding to this van. The first one you might recall was the skylight. And I think we did that about a month or two ago now, so we are jumping forward quite a bit and finally getting to number 2. I have it here in my hand. Hard to believe something that looks like this is as exciting as it is, but I am so stoked for this. This is actually an infrared heating film, and we're putting this under the floors. This is a way more affordable way of doing floor heating than what a lot of people have been doing, like with their, I don't know, it's like hydronic or something? I don't know, it has something to do with like their water heater and their diesel heater and stuff, and it's a whole system that costs like easily into 4 figures, and there was just no way that that was within reach for us. So we didn't even imagine that we'd be putting in floor heating in this van. But then we saw a video, and I'm gonna link to it below because they do a great description of it, including how to do the whole install and everything. A Canadian couple was doing their van build, and they discovered this company from Germany that does 12, 24 volt. Our system is actually a 24 volt system, so we got 24 volt heating films. Theirs were 12 volt, which is kind of what most people do for their batteries here in these camper vans. This is extremely efficient infrared heating. And in addition to that, it's also extremely affordable. So where you'd normally be spending about 4 figures for the normal heating systems that people use under their floors, this only cost us about $400. And that's also because we bought it for 2 different zones. So we've got 2 different thermostats. That's the most expensive piece, actually, is the thermostat. I don't know why more people don't know about this, except for maybe the fact that it is based in Germany. You have to order it directly from the company, but they are so great. It gets to you pretty quickly, all considered that you have to go through customs and everything else. I mean, it does take a few weeks at least to get to you, but it was a very simple process. They're very responsive. We had a couple questions. We emailed their customer care. They got right back to us. They're also on Instagram. We were able to message them there. So I'm gonna link to the original video that we found in the description below. And if you're interested in this, check out that couple's video because they do a really great explanation of the whole thing, how it works, how it gets wired up and installed. And there's also a comment from MiHeat, the company that makes these, pinned to the top of their comments as well with additional information. So that's a fantastic resource.
This has really been exciting the past few days, finally getting a lot of this stuff inside the camper van. What's scary about it is that we're doing all of this before our electrical system is installed, which means we can't test any of this stuff that's wired. So This is probably a really good example of how not to build a camper van. So we're just gonna have to go on faith here and hope that we're doing the best we can. Everything is gonna work fine once the electrical is hooked up.
Today we're cutting our countertops, and this is one that makes us pretty nervous because we went with butcher block. So it's heavy, it's thick, and it's not the cheapest, so we definitely don't want to mess it up. You can DIY butcher block countertops with wood for way less expensive than buying it. However, because we're on some time restrictions and we are already about 8 or 9 days, I guess, past our intended departure date, we just want to have as much ready to go as possible that we can just kind of get to the size we need and get it in the van so that we can get this build done. The butcher block thing. You see this a lot in vans. Honestly, we didn't initially want butcher block. We felt like it was just such a thing that you see in all the vans and it felt kind of generic, and we kind of don't love the woodsy look. However, the other options were either laminate on the less expensive end or some sort of a solid surface countertop like a Corian type of material on the slightly more expensive end. As we went and started spending more money places, the Corian, the solid surface option just was not within our budget anymore. We looked at laminate thinking that would be a really great affordable option, and a lot of people do go with it. It's great, it's lightweight, it's really easy to maintain, but unfortunately we just couldn't find anything that we liked the look of unless we actually laminated wood ourselves. And we're just trying to take a little bit of the DIY out of this DIY. So we settled on the butcher block, medium price, medium effort, and actually, this dark wood will go really nicely with our slightly mid-mod aesthetic that we're going with in here. So I think overall it's gonna blend in nicely without getting into that we're in an outdoorsy cabin look that a lot of the vans have these days.
The last few days involved plumbing, both inside and under the van, and putting the garage and bed together.
Update time! We have not been filming a lot because A, it is so hot and muggy, and we've just been coming in really trying to get this done now. We are in the home stretch, believe it or not. I know it looks like a total disaster area. We got wallpaper hanging off over here. We're gonna get that fixed quickly here. We have things back here. We don't have our cabinets all put together yet. So much still to do, but we're in the last 2 days of this build. We are going to get this finished by the end of the day tomorrow, as far as just like all the building stuff. And then we're gonna have a day where we just kind of come in and do final touches, put up a couple shelves, put up some pictures, some curtains, like, you know, just the things that make it homey and that we can actually start to get some aesthetics going in here. So let me give you a quick tour and an update of where we are, what we've done in the last few days, and then we're gonna talk road trips because that's really why we're doing all this, right? As you can see, we've got all the upper cabinets in. We had those in maybe the end of last week, I think. We've got our countertop here, the butcher block that we talked about. It's looking beautiful, and I have to say, I'm especially stoked about this little faux waterfall edge. You just get that wood going continuously over and down. Also, we have a bathroom, and this. I am so excited about this wallpaper. We fell in love with this really early on, and the rest of the design came together around this wallpaper. The paint color, doing the butcher block ended up working out because they use a lot of natural wood and mid-mod type design. So we decided with our love of this pattern in particular, we could totally build around that, go with some sort of a mid-mod inspired design. I mean, as much as you can within a van build. And we're gonna bring a little California on the road with us that way, because if you've been there, you know, you see a lot of that mid-century modern. It's very popular, especially in Southern California. So it really feels like us, and it feels like home in here. This is going to be just a lavatory bathroom. So we're not putting a full shower in here. We do have an outdoor shower that we're installing in the back there. So we can rinse off outside if it's nice out, if we get a little bit of privacy, or in our bathing suits or whatever. However, we definitely wanted privacy for using the toilet. We didn't like the idea of having to pull the toilet out into the middle of like the kitchen in order to use it. And this also gives us an opportunity to put some shelving up back here so we can put all of our beauty products, our skincare, our toothbrushes, all that stuff can like have some storage out of the way. So this is going to be a really functional space, even though there's no shower in there, and actually because there's no shower in there, because it really gives us some more storage options as well. And we still have to install the door, but we've got a Nautilus sliding door, self-retractable. Again, these are made for showers, so for when they get wet, they're self-cleaning. It won't be getting wet, but we just thought it was a really good option as far as the space. So we don't have a door swinging into it. We don't have to do like a farmhouse that's really clunky. It's just a very sleek, space-saving type of solution for a door, and it works perfectly for just a lavatory as well. And check out the open skylight up above them. So as I mentioned earlier, we are just 2 days, not even, from completing like the real build part of this build.
It's so hard to believe.
It's amazing. And then we're gonna do all the final touches at home and move in.
Yes.
And then after that, you guys, we start our epic road trip. We're gonna be out living full-time in the van, doing the digital nomad thing for the rest of 2023. So we're gonna be out for a long time. We are preparing for road trip mania.
Oh yeah.
And while we were doing it, we put together our ultimate road trip guide, and you can get a copy of it. I mean, why should we do all the work and then not share it?
Exactly.
So we put everything together in a PDF. You can have a copy of it for yourself. All you have to do is sign up for our newsletter.
And by the way, this isn't your quick thrown together freebie giveaway. This is a super in-depth and robust PDF.
It really is. We list all kinds of apps you can use for navigation, for planning, for finding interesting places to go, where to fuel up, packing lists for yourself, your vehicle.
Even dogs.
Even dogs, yes, because you know we love dogs.
Yeah.
So we've got you covered if you have an electric vehicle, an RV, if you're road tripping in your daily driver, it doesn't matter. And as I mentioned, all you have to do to get your copy is sign up for our newsletter. So I'm gonna put a link in the description below. Just click on that, sign up, and you'll get a copy of the PDF for free.
Plus, then you'll get all of our newsletters going forward.
Yeah, lots of updates on our plans, where we're headed. You can reply to us and give us tips and any sort of information, things we gotta see as we go.
Yeah, we love to include you guys in where we should go and what we should see in your area. So.
We really do, and any feedback we can get, any tips from locals or people who really know an area, that's the most valuable thing for us as well. So this is definitely a two-way street. We hope you find that you get a lot of resources out of the guide. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching.
See you next time.
See you next time. 1, 2, 3. If the van is a rocket Dover, the rocket if the van is a rocket Dover. Oh, Charlie horse, Charlie horse, Charlie horse. Oh, Charlie horse. Oh, that was not fun.
I mean, are you okay?
Oh, thanks.